Hey guys, and welcome back to the Peteytown Piranhas, a college football 26 team builder dynasty. In this episode, we're going to be going through year 21 of the program, and we're coming off a year 20 that was very special indeed. We got another national championship, a Heisman Trophy winner, and we extended our regular season winning streak to 11 seasons, so just looking to continue that here in year 21. And with that national championship last season, we have a 4-peat, so we're trying to get 5 in a row here, and also our 13th national title as a program. So to start that off, we're going to be going through our schedule for the year. Then we're going to look at the team that we're working with, and finally we're going to look at the initial recruiting board, and then we'll get into the games. And if you feel so inclined, you can like the video and subscribe to the channel if you like what you see. We're going to open the season against Boise State, and honestly I just wanted to go there because I want to play on the blue field, and when we were in a conference with them we never got a chance to do that, so just want to have that experience. Then we're going to take on our rivals Miami, then we're going to go into conference play against Iowa, then right out of conference play against NC State, then back into conference play against Purdue and Ohio State. Then we're going to have a bye week, then we travel to Autzen Stadium for Oregon, then we take on Penn State, then travel to USC, then take on Michigan State, and then it's Indiana and Oklahoma to end the season. We have a very exciting team, of course, as we head into the season ranked number 1 with 99s across the board, and we got some 99 overall guys with tactician boosts mixed in with true 99 overalls. Got Max Meeks at the top here as a 97, and then you got Miles Meadows, a true 99 overall, and then another true 99 overall is Max Littlejohn along with Jamie Salcedo, and then the last guy here is Floyd Grimes, who's a true 99 overall, and just very exciting headliners here for the Peteytown Piranhas. On offense, we're going to be led by 3-year starter and senior quarterback Eli Newcomb. Then at halfback will be Max Meeks, pretty much handling all the running back duties here. Then at fullback will be senior Matt Hurt. Then at wide receiver will be Floyd Grimes and Scott Graves handling a lot of things out there, as well as Tyler Robbins and Cornell Cleveland making appearances. And then at tight end, very excited for D'Angelo Lemur, and he's a junior, so we'll be having him for 2 years as our starter, and just very physically gifted guy. And then at left tackle will be Zach Skwerwanek. At left guard will be Avery Gabriel. At center will be very exciting transfer Landon McQueen. At right guard will be Deontay Singleton. And at right tackle will be Nick Potts. On defense, we're going to be returning our 2 edge players with Alfonso Wells on the left, and on the right will be Greg DeMulling. Then defensive tackle, we're going to have Doug Boss and Brian Stitzer stepping into larger roles with the departure of Kevin Jones. And we're going to have Dalvin Tabor in 3 defensive tackle sets. And then for linebackers, we're going to have Lamar Gallimore, who returns to us from last year. And another returnee will be Max Littlejohn, and he moved from outside to middle linebacker, so very excited for that transition for him. And that makes way for Kurt Stadt on the other outside linebacker spot. Then at cornerback, extremely excited about this group as you got these 99 overall guys and 97 overall Heath Byard in the slot. And on the outsides, for the most part, will be Jamie Salcedo and Miles Meadows. And then at free safety, we're going to have Caesar Stick. And then at strong safety, returning Jim Thorpe Award winner Daryl Morris. And for those sets that we need more safeties, we got Sua Tupa out there. Then at kicker, we're going to have Markel Komar, a freshman, and he's going to come in for Joaquin Orlando, who is just tremendously solid for us, so hoping that Markel can continue that tradition of solid kicker play. Then at punter will be junior Trent Gold. In the initial recruiting board, we have found an incredible 12 gems, so that's very exciting for us, and you can see what these guys bring to the table for the most part, but want to get to a few select guys because there's so many I would just be talking forever. But you got cornerback Jordan Iwama, and he's got 97 speed, 94 acceleration, just an athletic freak out there. Then you got Alfonso Harris at safety with 93 speed, 92 acceleration, 82 zone coverage, and he's got that silver silver robber. Then off the edge is Trevor Tavares with 88 finesse moves and good athleticism and the bronze pocket disruptor and gold recoup. Then you got wide receiver Freddie Rahman. He's got 89 speed, 92 acceleration, which is okay for that physical route runner ability, but then you got good route running as well and the bronze press pro and bronze 50-50. Then you got quarterback Greg Charles, who is the absolute diamond of this class. He's got 96 throw power, good accuracy, and very good athleticism with 87 speed and 90 acceleration. The only thing with Greg is that we are not currently on his board, so we're going to have to fight to get onto it because a lot of teams are going to be battling for his services, and we really want him. Well, pretty much immediately after hyping him up, Greg Charles has decided to lock us out, so we will not be getting him, unfortunately. In much more exciting news, we have 3 Peteytown Piranhas on the initial Heisman Trophy list with Floyd Grimes, Max Meeks, and Eli Newcomb. It's time to see how the year 21 Peteytown Piranhas look on the field as we travel to the blue field of Boise State with their 77 team overall. And Eli Newcomb is running away from him, and Eli will score the first touchdown of the season to go up 7-0. On our next drive, Boise State's able to stop us before we can get in the end zone, so we're going to go with a field goal, and that will be the first one in the career of Markel Komar. And the first sack on the season for us will be by Greg DeMulling. And Max Meeks is out of there with some nice blocking and receivers blocking downfield for him. Max Meeks shows that explosiveness, and it's going to be 17-0 Piranhas. And on the read option, their quarterback reads it correctly, and Boise State's on the board to make it 17-7. And we're going to get a tight throw there, but it's going to be complete to Scott Graves for the touchdown, and you love to see that from Scott. He had that injury last season that kept him out for a while, but he returns now, and we're really glad to have him, especially when he's making plays like that to get in the end zone and make it 24-7. And to the outside, it's going to be a nice toss to Scott Graves, who gets into the end zone again to make it 31-7 Piranhas. Nice throw by Eli to the outside, too. You got to be accurate out there, and he was. And immediate pressure from Brian Stitzer, who hit-sticks him down for the sack. Near the end of the first half, it's going to be Markel Komar with a field goal attempt after the offense put him in position, and Markel's going to nail that one as well to make it 34-7 at halftime. After the incompletion, they go back up top. He's got the back in the middle. And Max Meeks is going to swerve around those guys on the reception, and Max Meeks has another touchdown in this one, and another long one at that, and we're going to go up 41-7. And here's another sack for Brian Stitzer. Nice job by Brian on that rep. And that's going to be an interception by Boise State as we try to dump it off to Floyd Grimes on the sideline, but they're able to jump that. And it's going to be a sack and a fumble, and that's going to be recovered by the Piranhas. Nice job there. Looks like Greg DeMulling had a hand on the quarterback and might have forced that one loose, and Doug Boss is going to pick it up. And it's going to open up for Eli Newcomb, and Eli's in the end zone again on the ground, and we are going to have a nice response from our defense getting that fumble as the offense capitalizes, and after that interception from Eli, just a good sequence from the Piranhas to recover from that. And here's another sack. Brian Stitzer got a hand on him, as well as our guy Alfonso Wells. And that's going to be a sack from Boise State on a 7-yard loss. and make that 3 rushing scores for Eli Newcomb as he does a little juke at the end, and the Peteytown Piranhas will take the 55-7 lead. The Peteytown Piranhas start this year with a 58-10 victory over Boise State, just looking really good, and I'm excited to see what we can do as the rest of the season unfolds. To start the year, our offense put up 548 yards, while Boise State had 209. In the running game, we had 244 and 4 touchdowns, and they had -9 and a touchdown. For passing, they had 218, and we had 304. And for third down, we were 7 for 9, and they were 2 for 11. And for turnovers, we both had 1. Eli Newcomb began his campaign with 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and the 1 interception, and he was sacked twice. Max Meeks had 11 carries, 112 yards, and 1 touchdown, while Eli Newcomb had 13 carries, 85 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Max Meeks was also our leading receiver with 6 catches, 118 yards, and 1 touchdown, and then Floyd Grimes had 8 for 97, and then our guy Scott Graves got 5 for 34 and 2 touchdowns. We were led in tackles today by Alfonso Wells with 5, and he had 2 for a loss. And then for sacks, we had 3 from Brian Stitzer, who also added 4 TFLs. And then for the rest of the sacks, we had 2 from Rico Crozier, 1.5 from Greg DeMolling, and 1 for Ty Daly and Larry Ezeki, and half a sack for Alfonso Wells. And then on the forced fumble side of things, we actually had 3 with Brian Stitzer, Ty Daly, and Denzel Brink, and we recovered 1 with Doug Boss. Markel Komar with a very nice debut as he had 3 of 3 on his field goals with a long of 49. We had 7 guys enter their top 5 after the first week of the year, and we got Tony Everett, a halfback, and a gem in first place. Then you got left tackle Marco Sheed, and he's going to be in second place, so we got him on a week 4 visit with Tony to see if they can boost each other up. And then some more boosts are happening for week 4 as we got Jordan Iwama, the cornerback athlete that's really, really good. So he's in a tight battle with Clemson, and we just want to do anything we can to get him. And he's going to be paired on that with George Odenibo, an athlete thumper linebacker. And looking at him, he's got 90 speed and 88 acceleration, so he really lives up to that athlete name. Then we also got DeJuan Aikman, a defensive tackle power rusher. And then we got Freddie Rahman, who's not on a visit, but in his top 5, and he's over Nebraska for us right now. And then another defensive tackle with Antoine Willett, who nobody else is challenging for. It's time for another chapter in the rivalry between the Miami Hurricanes and the Peteytown Piranhas. Miami comes in as the number 3 team in the country. They also have a 99 team overall, and they won their first game of the season. On the first drive of the game, Miami's in field goal position with a 54-yard attempt, and their man has sent it up, and it is wide to the left, so we get away with that. And Max Meeks off the angle route is going to get into the end zone. Nice drive for the offense here. And we're going to go up 7-0. And there's a fumble on the play, and it is recovered by Lamar Gallimore. I think Kurt Stat was the one who forced it out with a huge hit there. And our offense is going to be set up at their 24-yard line. And it's going to be a strike to Floyd Grimes with a nice throw from Eli, and nice job by Floyd with that concentration and a guy draped all over him. And we're going to go up 14-0 thanks to the beautiful field position provided by our defense. And Floyd Grimes is going to get free on the RPO flat play, and he's got his second touchdown of the day as the Peteytown Piranhas go up 21-0. And 3 touchdowns on the day for Floyd Grimes on that slant route, and it was a little bit contested, but Eli Newcomb put it exactly where it needed to be, and Floyd made the catch to make it 28-0. And Floyd Grimes is going to be gone on this play. Nobody's catching that man, and he is going to score to make it 35-0 off that RPO glance post play that we like, and just Miami had no answer for it. And Floyd Grimes for another touchdown today. Unbelievable day for Floyd. Vernon Moncrief was in at quarterback as Eli Newcomb got a little banged up on a running play on the previous play. So Vernon will get that touchdown, and Floyd just 5 touchdowns in one game is incredible. We did not get the shutout against Miami as they got a couple of field goals, but we still get the 49-6 victory in the fight for the Piranha Cane Trophy. And there's your story right there. 5 touchdowns from Floyd. Just a absolutely outstanding game from him and the boys. And we will take this blowout victory over our rivals. We outgained Miami by exactly 300 yards as we had 519 and they had 219. They had 13 yards on the ground and we had 99 and a touchdown. For passing, they had 206 and we had 420. And they were 6 of 14 on third down and we were 8 for 9. And for the turnovers, they had 1 and we had 0. Fantastic day for Eli Newcomb as he had 314 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he was not sacked. And then I said Vernon Moncrief during the game, but it's Alex Keener. I'm thinking about Vernon, who left us in the transfer portal, but definitely love that Alex is here, especially when he's playing like this with 106 yards and a touchdown pass with the backups. Max Meeks gave us 8 carries for 67 yards on the ground, while Cortez Stoner had 6 for 33, and Alex Keener had a 1-yard touchdown run. Absolutely marvelous from Floyd Grimes today as he had 10 catches, 147 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Then you had D'Angelo Lemur getting 4 for 50. Then Max Meeks 3 for 44 and a touchdown. Scott Graves 4 for 42. On defense, Max Littlejohn had 8 tackles to lead us, while we had 1 sack from Rico Crozier. And then on the forced fumble side of things, we got that early one with Kurt Stat, and that was recovered by Lamar Gallimore. Absolutely no surprise here that Floyd Grimes was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week, and Floyd Grimes also had National Offensive Player of the Week. We have 3 Peteytown Piranhas at the top of the Heisman Trophy list now as Eli Newcomb has taken over the top spot, Max Meeks is in second, and Floyd Grimes actually dropped down a little bit, even after a 5-touchdown day. Iowa is next up on the schedule, and we're going to travel to them with their 1-1 record and 80 team overall. And we're going to find D'Angelo Lemur in the corner of the end zone, and it's going to be 7-0 Piranhas. And Max Meeks is running right by that safety, and Max Meeks is in the end zone for the touchdown for the Piranhas. And we're going to go up 14-0. Just incredible explosiveness from Max on that one. And that is an incredible interception by Jamie Salcedo. Their quarterback tried to give their receiver a chance on a little jump ball there, but Jamie Salcedo was able to bring it in. And beautifully thrown ball by our guy Eli Newcomb, and that is going to be D'Angelo Lemur in the end zone again for the Piranhas. Nice little play fake there, sucked the defense in, and Eli actually audible to that one, so nice call there. And we're going to go up 21-0. And Max Meeks is in the end zone again on the nice cut. We got the blocks going to the outside. That allowed a cutback lane for Max, and we're going to go up 28-0. And Max Littlejohn is going to get in on that sack. We brought a bunch of pressure there, and we got free. And another blitz for the Piranhas is going to result in another sack as we get them down for a 9-yard loss. And Floyd Grimes has gotten behind the defense, and Floyd Grimes has maneuvered his way into the end zone. Just great open field ability, seeing where he needed to go to run past that safety. And it's going to be 35-0 Piranhas. Iowa just trying to get on the board here as they're going to look at a 4th and inches and elect for a field goal. And their kicker is going to put it through, and it's going to be 35-3. Our offense is able to drive it down to the 1, and it's going to be a tough hash mark field goal attempt for Markel Komar, but he bangs it through confidently, and it's going to be 38-3 heading into halftime.
On third down, he'll try to pick it up through the air. Got the back over the middle.
And Max Meeks is going to be gone here, and he caught that ball, saw the defender coming at him, and he said, "I'm just going to go this way, sir." And he did that to great effect as we're going to go up 45-3. The dominant start to the season continues for the Piranhas as we get this 51-3 victory over Iowa, just clicking on all cylinders right now and looking really good to start this year. We almost had another game where we outgained our opponent by 300 yards, but not quite this time as we had 567 to their 268. And for rushing, we had 142 and 2 touchdowns, while Iowa had 45. And for passing yards, we had 425, they had 223. On third down, we were 6 for 10, and they were 10 for 19. And on turnovers, we kept it clean again, and we forced 3. Eli Newcomb with another great game as he had 380 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and he was not sacked. Max Meeks had 10 carries, 117 yards, and 2 touchdowns. On the receiving front, D'Angelo Lemur had 9 catches, 153 yards, and 2 touchdowns, while Floyd Grimes had 7 for 135 and a touchdown, and Max Meeks had 2 for 67 and a receiving touchdown to give him 3 on the game. Max Littlejohn had 15 tackles with 3 for a loss, while Deion Carney had 11 tackles and 1 for a loss. And then for sacks, we had 1 each from Max Littlejohn, Deion Carney, and Ty Daly, then half a sack each for Brian Stitzer, Rico Crozier, Larry Ezeki, and Dalvin Tabor. And then for interceptions, we got 1 with Deion Carney and another by Jamie Salcedo in the end zone. And then we go over to our forced fumbles. We had a couple with Rico Crozier getting 1 as well as Larry Ezeki. And then we had a recovery from Derek Sims. Markel Komar hitting all 3 of his field goals with a long of 55. And we already have a commitment this season with Mike linebacker George Odenibo. Checking in on recruiting, we got a lot of guys on visits this week with Tony Everett at halfback leading the way there, and we also have him paired up with Marco Sheed and Emmanuel Mantungulu, and we should be able to get these guys going if we can get this visit right. And we got a lot of defenders that are really boosting each other up in different ways. You got cornerback Jordan Iwuama, and he's in his top 3. Then DeJuan Aikman is in his top 5, but we were able to overtake Ole Miss after last week, and they have that Tier 5 pipeline, so I don't think this visit is going to exactly get him to commit, but we'll see what we can do here, especially with them breathing down our neck. And then we also got Alfonso Harris in his top 5 in a tight battle here, and Cornell Moses, a little more separation over Pitt, but we'll see what we can do here. But we have the Tier 5 pipeline, so feeling pretty confident. And then for guys not on their visits, you got Freddie Rahman, and he's in his top 3 and about ready to commit. And then the same thing for Antoine Willett at defensive tackle. And then we go to other guys who are in visits for the following week with Romeo Vigil at right tackle and Daryl Hardman at cornerback. And you got him in his top 5 with Auburn and Georgia trying to chase us down. And then you got Nick Granson, who nobody else is going after, to our benefit. Our 3 guys are still at the top here, but we had a little flip-flop with Max Meeks taking over the top spot and Eli Newcomb in second. We're now going to host the 3-0 and number 15 ranked NC State Wolfpack with their team overall of 87, and NC State is the last team to ever beat us. That was a few years ago in the playoffs, so still got that in the back of our minds. We were able to avenge that loss the following season, but now we got another chance here at them.
The handoff here, looking to throw it. The pocket breaking down.
And their quarterback didn't really have anywhere to go, and it's going to be Greg DeMulling on the sack.
Going to pick up the 3rd and short through the air. Launching one.
And Eli Newcomb's going to buy just a bit of time there. He got an extra second to get it out to Floyd Grimes, and that's going to be a touchdown for the Piranhas to make it 7-0.
Play action here on first down.
And that's going to be Jamie Salcedo getting that pick, and now Miles Meadows, and it's Miles Meadows running down the numbers, and Miles is going to get another pick 6 on this season for himself, and the Peteytown Piranhas go up 14-0.
To the air, it's DeMarco. He's running out of
And it's going to be a sack here, Greg DeMulling, but it's going to be at the 1 yard line, so not quite a safety, but nice pressure there by Greg.
And he'll drop back here on third down.
And that is going to be a strike from Eli Newcomb into the hands of Tyler Robbins, and that's going to be another touchdown for the Piranhas to make it 21-0.
Quarterback drops back from the shotgun, looking for a
And that is going to be fired right into the hands of Floyd Grimes. He was going to be on a double move there, but Eli threw it right before Floyd can get into that second break, and it worked out perfectly for us as Floyd found the empty space, and we're going to go up 28-0. And Max Meeks is out of there. He's running down the numbers, and Max Meeks is in the end zone. What an explosive play there. The hole opened up, and once that happens, it's really hard to contain Max, and they couldn't there as it's going to be 35-0. And that's going to be a sack by Lamar Gallimore. That play action brought their quarterback into the end zone. Couldn't find anybody, and Lamar is able to put him down for the safety.
breaks free. Great move there.
And we're out of there again. It's going to be Cortez Stoner bringing this one back down the numbers and in the end zone again for the Piranhas. Cortez Stoner on that safety punt. He's the one back there bringing it back to make it 44-0.
Dropping back, looking to throw for the first down.
And a sack incoming here. It's going to be a forced fumble, and it's recovered by NC State. Nice job here, and it's going to be Doug Boss getting a little highlight on that.
Wanting to make an adjustment before this critical
And Floyd Grimes on the slant near the end zone. Floyd is going to be in the end zone again today, and just continuing to pummel them at 58-0.
to convert this third down. Pressure is coming.
And another pick for the Peteytown Piranhas. Daryl Morris getting that one and returning it for a pick six. This is just going to be absolutely crazy. 65-0. Absolutely dominant here for the Peteytown Piranhas as we get the 68-3 victory over NC State. Just absolutely no complaints from me. This team was dominant, and we got touchdowns in all three phases of the game today, which you always love to see. The Piranhas had 425 yards to NC State's 156. They had -2 yards rushing, and we had 173 and 2 touchdowns. Through the air, they had 158, and we had 252. On third down, they were 4 for 15, and we were 6 for 10. And for turnovers, they had 2, we had 0. Eli Newcomb doing his thing with 241 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was not sacked. Max Meeks just below 100 yards rushing today with 7 carries, 97 yards, and a touchdown, while Cortez Stoner had 6 for 40, and Eli Newcomb 2 for 15 and a touchdown. D'Angelo Lemur had 5 catches and 92 yards, while Floyd Grimes had 5 for 66 and 3 touchdowns. Scott Graves had 3 for 49, Tyler Robbins 8 for 32 and a touchdown. A handful of guys with 5 tackles today as Max Littlejohn, Sua Tupa, Derek Sims, and Frank Spillman got those. And for sacks, we had 2.5 from Greg DeMulling, 1.5 from Dalvin Tabor, 1 each for Lamar Gallimore and Ty Daly, then half a sack each for Sammy Middlebrooks, Rico Crozier, and Doug Boss. And for interceptions, we got 1 with Daryl Morris and another with Miles Meadows, and they both got returned for touchdowns by these guys. And then for forced fumbles, we got 1 with Greg DeMulling, but we did not recover it. Markel Komar hit his only field goal of the day, a 41-yarder. That win helped us land halfback Tony Everett. And then looking at the rest of the recruits here, we got left tackle Marco Shed, and then another one here with right guard Emmanuel. And I'm not going to say the last name, but we're going to continue. Then we're going to go with cornerback Jordan Iwuma. And then another one here with defensive tackle DeJuan Aikman. And then another commit with Alfonso Harris at strong safety. And yet another one as Freddie Rahman is going to come in. And we're going to get Antoine Willett again. Again, I say we get Antoine Willett. I'm saying we're getting another commit again. I don't know what I'm saying, but anyway, that's going to be the last one for this week. Miles Meadows is your Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. Apologies to Emmanuel Mantungalu. I just didn't want to butcher his last name while we were doing the commitment screen there. Wanted to get everything in one take, so apologies to him, but very glad that he's a Peteytown Piranha. And then for the rest of the guys who haven't committed yet, Cornell Moses was on the visit, but just decided not to commit just yet, so hopefully he does that. And then for our rest of our guys, we got Romeo Vigil on a visit this week. He's got a nice little lead over Miami. Then we got cornerback Daryl Hardman on a visit as well, a nice little cushion against Auburn. And then Hugh Coates is going to be on a visit next week, and he's got boosts from Nick Granson and Trevor Tavares. And you can see Nick should be committing very soon. Nobody else really challenged for him, which is a surprise, but it is what it is. And then we got David Rawlings, who's in his top 5 and being sold right now, and he's over Tulane. And then we got this guy Marco Ballage, who's still in his top 8. Still got Max Meeks and Eli Newcomb at the top of the Heisman Trophy list, but Michigan's wide receiver Ricardo Cantrell has taken over the spot that was Floyd Grimes's, and it's pretty much just a matter of production and yards, because I think our guy Floyd is doing mighty fine this year, but you can see Ricardo's got a bunch more yards, so just being the defining thing there right now. Now we're going to host the Purdue Boilermakers, and they're 2-1 on the young season with a 76 team overall. And this is going to be a sack by Purdue to knock us back 7 yards. And Max Meeks is going to get around the edge there. Nice blocking by our guys. And we had that sack earlier on the drive that made it 3rd and long. We were able to convert and then punch it in with Max. And it's going to be 7-0 Piranhas. And we're going to step in front of that for the interception. And that's going to be returned for a touchdown. Miles Meadows with another one in this season. And we're going to go up 14-0. Alfonso Wells with a beautiful move on that tackle to get in for the sack. And Scott Graves is going to catch that one in front of some Purdue players and then scoot his way into the end zone. And it's going to be 21-0 Piranhas. Just a beautiful burst of acceleration from Scott. On this drive, Purdue is going to keep us out of the end zone, and we're going to have to try a 50-yard field goal with Markel Komar. And Markel is going to miss that one wide to the right, unfortunately. And Greg DeMulling's going to get it on the sack, and Alfonso Wells also gets it in there, and he's going to force a fumble, and we're going to be able to knock him back a long ways. And Eli is going to get sacked here as he tried to scramble away but just got stuck up back there. After the sack and previous miss on a field goal, Markel Komar is going to come out for another attempt. And Markel is going to put this one up, and it is off the upright, and that's going to be his second miss of the day. Purdue's going to try their hand at a field goal now, a 57-yard attempt. And their kicker is going to send this one up. And it looks good, and it is good. Nice job by their guy, and it's going to be 21-3. And we're going to get in for the sack. Brian Stitzer is going to be the one to get in there, and he's going to force the fumble. That's recovered by Doug Boss, and we're going to be set up right at their 7-yard line. And Max Meeks is going to find the space in the end zone for his second touchdown of the day, and the Piranhas are going to be up 28-3. After our touchdown strike, Purdue's on their next drive with a field goal attempt, and they're going to put it up for the 40-yarder and put it through to make it 28-6. Another chance for Markel Komar to put one in here on a 39-yarder. And Markel is going to put that one up, and it's going to be blocked by Purdue. And we're going to recover it with our guy, and he is trying to run around the edge, but that is going to be a block field goal, and Purdue is going to take over. Just a really nightmarish sort of day for Markel. Another attempt for Markel here, and this time Markel is going to put it through, and it's going to be 31-6. And that is going to be a nice interception. We're going to return this one with Greg DeMulling, and Greg is going to get it all the way to their 23-yard line. What a play. And Eli Newcomb is going to take this one. Eli Newcomb is met by a guy, but he's able to power his way through into the end zone. Nice job by Eli to make it 38-6. The Piranhas finish off a 45-9 victory over Purdue. Just really nice job. A little wonky on the field goal unit, but hopefully we can get that cleaned up. But for the rest of the game, we did pretty well. On offense today, the Piranhas had 410 yards to Purdue's 168. They had 61 yards on the ground, and we had 129 and 3 touchdowns. Through the air, they had 107, and we had 281. On third down, they were 2 for 11. We were 5 for 10. And on turnovers, we forced 3 and did not commit any. Eli Newcomb, very solid today with 243 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and he was sacked twice. Max Meeks had 17 carries, 75 yards, and a touchdown, while Eli Newcomb had 7 for 42 and a touchdown, and Cortez Stoner had a short touchdown run as well. Floyd Grimes led us today with 9 catches and 88 yards, while Max Meeks added 5 for 62 and a touchdown. And then down here we got Scott Graves, 3 for 28 and a touchdown. Daryl Morris led us with 10 tackles on defense, and then in the sacks department we got 1.5 from Alfonso Wells, 1 each for Larry Ezeki and Brian Stitzer, then half a sack for Doug Boss, Greg DeMulling, Dalvin Tabor, and Victor Lacumbo. Then for interceptions we got 1 with Greg DeMulling and another with Miles Meadows that he returned 31 yards for a touchdown. And then for our forced fumbles, we got 1 from Brian Stitzer and 1 from Doug Boss, and one of them was recovered by Doug Boss. Markel Komar with a bit of a freshman game today as he went 1 for 4 on field goals with a long of 41. Commitments now with free safety Cornell Moses joining our defensive backfield. Then we got another commit with cornerback Daryl Hardman, a 5-star. Love to see that. With the help of that pick 6, Miles Meadows is the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. Our win over Purdue did not convince Romeo Vigil to commit to us yet, but he should be doing so, and hopefully he does this week before he visits Miami. And then for guys on visits this week, we got Nick Granson in his top 3, and he should be committing to us. And then we got Hugh Coates, who's got a nice lead over Kansas State. Edge Trevor Tavares in a big battle here. Got Penn State trying to take him away from us. And then you got David Rawlings, a halfback, and you got Tulane behind us for him. Michigan wide receiver Ricardo Cantrell has taken over the top spot in the Heisman, which drops down Max Meeks and Eli Newcomb, and Floyd Grimes stayed in the same spot. 2 5-0 teams will do battle now as we host the Ohio State Buckeyes with their 95 team overall and number 16 ranking, and we got those guys coming in for a visit this week, so important game all around. And we are going to run with that one and get the interception. It's going to be Max Littlejohn grabbing that one and returning it to their 28-yard line. He was just slightly behind the receiver, but the quarterback tried to beam it, and Max Littlejohn was able to locate it. After the interception, Ohio State's defense really tightened up, and we're going to have to settle for a field goal with Markel Komar, and he's going to put it through to make it 3-0. And big rush there by Brian Stitzer. He was in there in a flash. Hitting Max Meeks to the outside, the edge is sealed, and he is in for the touchdown to make it 10-0 Piranhas. And we're going to get the interception there, and it's going to be Greg DeMulling running down the numbers to bring this one back for a pick 6. We were able to force that throw by the quarterback, and he just couldn't get it past anybody, and it falls right into the hands of Greg DeMulling. And the bubble screen is going to go over to Scott Graves, and they had a guy on him, but Scott's able to fight into the end zone, and it's going to be 24-0 Piranhas. And a sack here as Doug Boss is going to get back there to bring him down. And it's going to be a sack on Eli Newcomb, and they're going to force us to punt. And we're back there. Jamie Salcedo leaping up in the air and taking it away from that receiver, and we're going to return it to the 45-yard line. And Floyd Grimes is going to spin away from that guy, and Floyd Grimes is in the end zone. What a play by Floyd, spinning out those guys and getting into the end zone and running away from those other guys to make it 31-0 Piranhas. And another interception over the middle. It's Max Littlejohn, and Max is going to get to the outside, and he is going to find the lane into the end zone. Pick 6 for the Piranhas. Max Littlejohn with another one, and it's going to be 38-0 Piranhas. And it's going to be Floyd Grimes getting open, and it's going to be Floyd for the second time today. Nice strike from Eli Newcomb, and it's going to be 45-0 right before the 2-minute warning. And here's a sack and a fumble, and Ohio State's going to pick that one up as we were driving. And D'Angelo Lemur hangs on to that one, and despite 2 Ohio State Buckeyes crunching him in the end zone, he's going to have the touchdown to make it 52-0. It was an absolute bloodbath today for the Peteytown Piranhas over the Ohio State Buckeyes as we get this 66-0 victory over them. The defense with multiple defensive scores, including one with the backups. Just absolutely fantastic performance here from the Piranhas. Ohio State barely got over 100 yards as they had 109 and we had 486. On the ground they had 7 yards and we had 157 and 2 touchdowns. Through the air they had 102 and we had 329. On third down they were 2 for 13. We were 5 for 9. And in the turnover department we got 6 on them, and we also had 1 ourselves. Eli Newcomb was fantastic throwing the ball today as he had 316 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and he was sacked twice, and on one of those sacks, he unfortunately lost a fumble. Max Meeks with 11 carries, 91 yards, and a touchdown, while Cortez Stoner had 6 for 59, and Tyler Cutler had 2 for 10 and a touchdown. D'Angelo Lemur had 9 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown, while Floyd Grimes had 5 for 94 and 2 touchdowns. And then you had Scott Graves, 4 for 31 and a touchdown. Max Littlejohn led us with 8 tackles today, and then for sacks, we had 1 each for Doug Boss, Brian Stitzer, and Larry Ezeki. Then a lot of interceptions to go around as Max Littlejohn got 2, and he got 1 from Tayshawn Whipple, another for Frank Spillman, Jamie Salcedo got 1, and Greg DeMullen got another, and Greg got an interception for a touchdown, as well as Tayshawn Whipple and Max Littlejohn. After that tough game in the last outing, Markel Comar hit his only field goal today with a 39-yarder. We got a handshake from Romeo Vigil to commit to us on our offensive line, and then another commitment here with cornerback Nick Granson, and that is it for this week. Max Littlejohn was rewarded as the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. Max was also the National Defensive Player of the Week. The visit last week was able to give Hugh Coates, Trevor Tavares, and David Rawlings all a nice boost, but still haven't committed to us yet, so hopefully we can get them soon. And we also got to watch out with David Rawlings. Ole Miss has that Tier 5 pipeline, so they might try to give us a fight at the end here, but I have pretty good confidence that David will come to us. After the bye week, we got a commitment from Sam linebacker Hugh Coates, so that's a really nice get for us. And another one with edge Trevor Tavares, and we did not get our other guy left, so we're still waiting on him, but we got these 2 guys. After our bye week, Max Meeks is the only Piranha left on the Heisman Trophy list, and another thing to note is that Michigan has Vernon Moncrief, our former quarterback, and he's found himself on the Heisman Trophy list. After a few games at home, we're going to have to travel on the road now to Oregon to take on the Ducks with their 89 overall and 5-2 record. And Max Meeks gets the block from Matt Hurd, and he's able to sprint into the end zone, and we're going to open up the scoring to make it 7-0. And that is going to be a touchdown for the Piranhas. What a catch in the end zone there. Can't tell. I think that's Frank Kenoy making that play. That is absolutely incredible. I didn't think we were going to have a chance. Just the DB was going to knock it down. But Frank is able to run to it and catch that one. That was on 4th down, too, so incredibly clutch. And we're going to go up 2 scores. And a sack here for the Piranhas. Greg DeMulling and Alfonso Wells in on it. And Tyler Robbins is going to get this one on the bubble screen and get it into the end zone. And the Peteytown Piranhas will go up 21-0. Markel Komar coming on for a field goal attempt, a 54-yarder. And Markel is going to send this one, and that is going to be wide to the right. And we're going to get a forced fumble on the sack here. It's still bouncing around, but Oregon is going to pick it up. And I believe that was Doug Boss on the sack. And Tyler Robbins has made that catch, and Tyler Robbins is going to score the touchdown. What a play by Tyler. He's able to beat his man, and Eli Newcomb was able to fit it into him, and Tyler did the rest to make it 28-0. Alfonso Wells on the first play from scrimmage in the second half is going to get a sack. On our first possession of the second half, we get it in field goal range for Markel Komar. And Markel is going to put that one through, and it's going to be 31-0 Piranhas.
From the gun, they'll try to impose their running game.
And Max Meeks has found the lane, and Max Meeks is going to break free for the touchdown. What a run by Max. Just could not bring him down, and we are going to go up 38-0. It's another shutout here for the Peteytown Piranhas as we get the 41-0 victory over Oregon. Dominant defense, dominant Max Meeks, as you can see, and just absolutely wonderful performance here on the road. Our offense was moving up and down the field today as we had 562 yards to Oregon's 190. We had 219 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground, and they had 45. For passing, we had 343 and they had 145. On third down, we were 10 for 15. They were 1 for 9. And on turnovers, there were none in this game. Eli Newcomb just under 300 yards today as he had 298 with 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was sacked once. Huge day from Max Meeks as he had 19 carries, 192 yards, and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Tyler Robbins with a bit of a breakout today as he had 8 catches, 103 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and Max Meeks had 4 for 58, Floyd Grimes 5 for 55, and Frank Kenoy with a big play as he had 2 catches, 42 yards, and that long touchdown. 11 tackles today for Max Littlejohn and 2 for a loss. 4 sacks, we had 1.5 for Alfonso Wells and 1 for Doug Boss, along with half a sack for Greg DeMulling. And we also had a forced fumble today by Doug Boss, but we did not recover it. Markel Komar with another miss today, but he also hit 2 others, and he had a long of 36. Halfback David Rawlings will be joining our team. On the back of that big day, Max Meeks was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. If our matchup against Penn State wasn't big enough, we're also bringing in Marco Ballage, the quarterback, for a visit this week, and we really need to win it as Nebraska's right on our tail for him. In this game of the week, it's going to be the number 2 Peteytown Piranhas against the number 3 Penn State Nittany Lions. They are 8-0 on the year with a 97 overall, so very tough team coming into the Piranha Tank. And Tyler Robbins is going to do a little juke, and he's going to get into the end zone on the bubble screen, and the Peteytown Piranhas strike first in this big matchup. Alfonso Wells is going to get in for that hit stick sack. After the Alfonso Wells sack, it's going to be a field goal attempt for Penn State as he's trying to hit from 59 yards out, and he will do just that. And it's going to be 7-3. And Floyd Grimes is free, and Floyd is in the end zone for the Piranhas, and we're going to take a 14-3 lead. And that is going to be intercepted by Penn State as he was able to bait Eli into that one. And that's only going to be Eli's second interception on the year. And here's a sack for the Piranhas and a forced fumble, but Penn State's going to recover it. Looks like they'll give Greg DeMulling credit with that forced fumble. We are able to get it in Penn State's red zone, but no further as we settle for a 34-yard field goal, and Markel Komar will knock it through, and it's going to be 17-3. And Floyd Grimes is going to get that one and do a nice dive into the end zone for the touchdown. And the Peteytown Piranhas, with just under a minute left in the first half, will take a 24-3 lead. And Doug Boss brings down their quarterback and knocks them out of field goal range.
Snapping it from the red zone now, looking to throw.
And there's a fumble on the play on a big hit, and we're going to recover it. What a play. Daryl Morris on the recovery, and Alfonso Wells a little banged up there, but just an absolutely fantastic play by the defense to keep them off the board. And Max Meeks is going to get the blocking, and Penn State over-pursued a little bit in their run stopping, and Max Meeks will take advantage to get in the end zone and make it 31-3. A blitz by the Piranhas is going to work to perfection as Greg DeMulling gets in for the sack. And Floyd Grimes is going to make that contested catch in the end zone on the slant for another score by him today, and it'll be 38-3 Piranhas. Well, we didn't extend our shutout streak, but we did extend our blowout streak as we win 38-3 over Penn State in what was a fine performance from the Peteytown Piranhas in what was a very big game for us. Just over 500 yards for the Piranhas as we got 502 and Penn State got 146. They had 33 yards rushing and we had 152 and a touchdown. For passing, they had 113 and we had 350. They were 2 of 9 on third down while we were 5 for 7. And for turnovers, we both had 1. Eli Newcomb with 344 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a throw he wished he had back on that pick, and he was not sacked. Max Meeks with 11 carries and 115 yards and a touchdown. D'Angelo Lemur had 9 catches for 104 yards, while Floyd Grimes had 9 for 97 and 3 touchdowns. Then Max Meeks got 7 for 66, and Tyler Robbins 9 for 30 and a touchdown. Lamar Gallimore gave us 10 tackles today, while for sacks we had 1.5 from Greg DeMulling, then 1 for Alfonso Wells, Doug Boss, and Ty Daly, then half a sack for Dalvin Tabor. Then for our forced fumbles, we had a few. Got Greg DeMulling on 1 and Lamar Gallimore with the other, and then we got a recovery from Daryl Morris. Markel Komar hit his only field goal attempt today for 34 yards. On the back of that visit against Penn State, Marco Ballage has a nice lead over Nebraska in his top 3 stage. Max Meeks has moved into second place now for the Heisman Trophy, just behind quarterback from Sam Houston, Wade Volson. This game of the week will be between 2 99 overall teams, with number 12 USC as our opponent as we travel to them, and they are 7-2 on the season. And their quarterback trying to scramble is going to go into the arms of Brian Stitzer. Probably had some room to move up in the pocket and maybe run straight, but instead he's going to go right into Brian. And over the middle it's going to be a touchdown for USC as they have a very impressive opening drive and overcame that sack that we had earlier on the drive. Markel Komar is going to come on and try a field goal here, and Markel is going to put it up from the hash mark, and it is going to be wide to the right, no good. And just a beautiful move by Greg DeMulling on that pass rushing rep to get the sack. And Eli Newcomb is going to go down on a sack, and that's going to be just back-to-back possessions for these teams where they're able to close drives out with sacks.
It's a close one all the way to the end. Deep shot toward the end zone.
And we're going to get that tip with Miles Meadows, and coming over to intercept that, we're going to get it in the back of the end zone with Caesar Stick making it, and we're going to keep USC off the board on this drive. USC looking to cash in on a 57-yard field goal attempt here for their kicker. and he is going to launch that one away, and it is going to be wide to the left, and they come away with nothing again. On the left hash mark here, right before the end of the first half, Markel Komar is going to try to hit a field goal, and Markel is going to put it up, and it is going to be wide to the left, and we're going to miss another one. USC is going to kneel on this one, and for the first time in a long time, I'm going to try to help our Piranhas get back into this one. 3rd down and 5 for USC, and they're going to go with a screen pass here, and we are going to get out there. Lamar Gallimore and friends are able to bring him down. On offense, going to go with a dive for Max Meeks, and he is going to get through there. Nice little broken tackle to get a first down. And Eli Newcomb going to keep this one, going to get the block on the edge, trying to run away, but he's going to get it all the way down to their 19. This one's out to Tyler Robbins. He's going to run away from that guy. The blocking downfield is beautiful, and Tyler Robbins is going to get into the end zone for the Piranhas as we tie this one up 7-7. Alfonso Wells is going to break down and then get to the quarterback's feet to bring him down for the sack. And D'Angelo Lemur getting free on the crosser, and the Peteytown Piranhas are going to take their first lead of the game. We're going to make it 14-7. Brian Stitzer getting in there for the sack, and that's going to be our 4th on the game. The sack helps force it to be a field goal attempt here for USC as they're trying a 49-yarder, and their man is going to put it through to make it 14-10. And Max Meeks is breaking free. What a run from Max. Oh, he almost broke it all the way. What a huge play as we get to their 10-yard line. And it's going to be Floyd Grimes on the slant, and Floyd is going to make that a touchdown for the Piranhas as we separate a little bit to make it 21-10. And big shout out to Max Meeks on that huge run on this drive. And a sack by Alfonso Wells, as that's going to be a 5-yard loss. Desperation time as it's 4th and 12 from their own 11-yard line. USC needing to pick this one up, and their quarterback is going to drop back. We send 4. He's going to fire one to the outside, and it's going to be intercepted by Jamie Salcedo. Great coverage there and a little dive to get that one, and we're going to be set up at their 42. Eli Newcomb is going to fire this one into the hands of D'Angelo Lemur, and that's going to be a touchdown for the Piranhas. So after that stop on defense, our offense is able to cash in to make it 28-10. And he's going to get taken down by Dalvin Tabor for our 6th sack of the ball game. USC going for one final play here as their quarterback dances around. He escapes the pressure, and he's going to just run out of bounds for fun times. And that's going to be it as we get this 28-10 victory over USC on the backs of a 28-3 second half. After we were really struggling on offense in the first half, our defense was able to hold the fort down to allow our offense to find their groove again, and we walk out of here with a big W. Our Piranhas really had their first test of the year, and they passed it with flying colors as they had 390 yards to USC's 298. On the ground, we had 168 to their 29. And then through the air, we had 222 and they had 269. For third downs, we had 7 for 10 and they were 7 for 15. For turnovers, this was a nice difference in the game as we had 0 and forced 2 on USC. Eli Newcomb was able to put up 222 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and he was sacked once. On the ground, Max Meeks had 13 carries for 117 yards, including that big carry that allowed us to really separate towards the end, and Eli Newcomb had 7 for 51. D'Angelo Lemur was a big factor in today's win as he had 12 catches, 109 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Tyler Robbins had 5 for 34 and a touchdown, and Floyd Grimes 3 for 15 and a touchdown. Lamar Gallimore was all over the place with 12 tackles and 3 for a loss, while Miles Meadows got 11 and 1 for a loss. And then for sacks, we had 1.5 from Brian Stitzer, and we also had it from Alfonso Wells and Greg DeMulling. Then 1 sack each for Doug Boss, Kurt Statt, and Dalvin Tapper. Then for interceptions, we got that one with Jamie Salcedo. That really helped us seal this one up. And then Caesar Stick came over from his safety spot and got that one off the deflection from Miles Meadows. That really helped us in this one. But unfortunate today as Markel Komar missed both of his field goal attempts. D'Angelo Lemur was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. Louisville's wide receiver Bruce Toner is now at the top of the Heisman Trophy list, a guy we've seen up here before, and Max Meeks has been dropped down to 3rd. The Spartans of Michigan State are up next for us as they have an 85 team overall and 6-3 record. And Floyd Grimes is out of there. Their man tried to cut him off, but Floyd just went right around him. That's going to be an explosive touchdown to open up the scoring here. And Eli Newcomb is going to get sacked here, and the ball is loose, and Michigan State is going to recover it. And now their man is rumbling, bumbling, stumbling down the field, and he's going to return this all the way for a pick 6, despite some guys getting to him at the end there. And Michigan State is going to make this a 7-7 game. And it's going to be Scott Graves using that downhill ability to break a couple of tackles, and Scott's going to get into the end zone, and we're going to go up 14-7 on a nice recovery drive after that fumble 6. And it's going to be Max Meeks on the angle route getting into the end zone, and we're going to make it 21-7. And their quarterback trying to get away, but it's going to be a forced fumble, and that's going to be recovered by Doug Boss, and that's going to be a touchdown for the Piranhas. Alfonso Wells forcing it out, and the big fella Doug Boss doing the rest to make it 28-7 Piranhas. A sack for Brian Stitzer, so we're opening up the next possession after that fumble 6 with another sack. Another sack for Brian Stitzer, and that is going to be ruled as a safety for the Piranhas, making it 30-7. Couldn't tell who else was in it. Looks like they're giving Alfonso Wells some other credit there as well. And floating it outside, that's going to be a nice ball out there to Scott Graves, who's in for another touchdown today. And it's going to be 37-7 Piranhas, and Eli Newcomb is just absolutely dealing out there today. Hit as he throws, and that's going to be floated into an interception, and that's going to be the Jim Thorpe Award winner from last year, Daryl Morris, and he brings it inside their 10. Max Meeks, or no, that's going to be our other guy, Tyler Cutler, getting into the end zone on a nice block from Matt Hurt, and the Peteytown Piranhas will extend the lead 44-7. And Scott Graves is breaking free. It was just a simple slant, but Scott was able to find the lane to run through, and he is gone for another touchdown for him in this game, as it's going to be 51-7 Piranhas. A sack here. Doug Boss is going to get back there, force the fumble. That's going to be picked up by Greg DeMulling, and we have our second fumble 6 of the game. 3rd overall if you count Michigan State's, but just a lot of pressure on these quarterbacks, and they're letting the ball go. And thankfully, we're the ones who have more, and we're going to go up 58-7. And another sack, as it's going to be Greg DeMulling getting in there. We get the big 79-10 victory over Michigan State and get it to a 69-point margin. Very nice. And you can see Eli Newcomb was dealing out there, and just a fantastic day for the Piranhas. Our offense was on fire today as we had 628 yards and Michigan State had 139. They also had 31 yards rushing while we had 127 and 2 touchdowns. Then through the air they had 108 and we got it just over 500 as we had 501. For third downs they were 4 for 15 and we were 7 for 8. And turnovers they had 3 and we had 1. Eli Newcomb was throwing it all over the yard today as he had 375 yards, 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and he was sacked once and unfortunately lost the ball and they had a fumble 6 on it, but we were able to recover from that very nicely. And Alex Keener also had 126, 2 touchdowns, no picks, and he was not sacked. On the ground, Alex Keener had 4 for 45 and a touchdown, while Tyler Cutler had 5 for 36 and a touchdown, and Max Meeks was dealing with some wear and tear but still managed 5 for 30. Big day for Floyd Grimes as he had 4 catches, 123 yards, and a touchdown. Then Scott Graves, all 3 of his catches went for touchdowns, and he had 118 yards. D'Angelo Lemur had 5 for 76, and Max Meeks 3 for 41 and a touchdown. David Dimke 3 for 33 and a touchdown, and 2 catches, 18 yards, and a touchdown for Cortez Stoner. Victor Lacumbo came in with the backups and got 7 tackles to lead us, and then for sacks, we got a bunch here with 2 each for Alfonso Wells and Eric Filani, then 1 each for Doug Boss, Greg DeMulling, Ty Daly, and Brian Stitzer. Then we got 1 interception with Daryl Morris. And for our forced fumbles, we had 3. Alfonso Wells, Doug Boss, and Ty Daly got them. Then we recovered both of them, Doug Boss and Greg DeMulling on those, and they returned them both for touchdowns. Almost forgot Alfonso Wells getting a safety as well, so nice job, Alfonso. Quarterback Marco Ballage is now going to be a Peteytown Piranha, the 5-star quarterback. Max Meeks has dropped down to 5th on the Heisman Trophy list. It'll be the 69 overall Indiana Hoosiers here, and they have a 3-7 record on the season.
To be had, so he's just got to do a better job.
And there's a fumble on the play, and it's going to be recovered by the Piranhas, and we're set up very nicely at their 27-yard line.
The snap sets up to throw.
And it's going to be Floyd Grimes on the double move getting into the end zone. Nice protection by the O-line to let it develop. And it's going to be 7-0 Piranhas.
Second down, they'll go to the air.
And it's going to be a sack for Doug Boss on a 4-yard loss. And Greg DeMulling beats his man quickly, as well as Alfonso Wells helping to clean it up.
Second down, they'll go to the air.
D'Angelo Lemur is going to catch this one despite that late hit from their defender, and we're going to be up 14-0.
With the run on 1st and goal.
And Max Meeks is going to shove that guy out of his way, and Max Meeks is in the end zone, and it's going to be 21-0 Piranhas. And Floyd Grimes is out of there, and Floyd is in the end zone for the 2nd time today to make it 28-0 Piranhas. Brian Stitzer getting in for the sack, as well as Greg DeMulling, and they both combined to force a fumble, but we don't recover it. And Max Meeks is going to break that tackle, and Max is in the end zone again for the Piranhas, and it's 35-0. And on the sack, it's going to be Greg DeMulling forcing the fumble. The ball's still alive, but Indiana has it. And back-to-back sacks for the Piranhas as Brian Stitzer is in. D'Angelo Lemur with a big play as he's going down the sideline, and he is going to get away from the defense and score another touchdown for us as it's 42-0 Piranhas. And a sack as Dalvin Tabor is going to get in there. And we're going to end the sack with another sack. We're going to end the half with another sack by Brian Stitzer. And in the back of the end zone, it's going to be our guy D'Angelo Lemur getting in there for his 3rd touchdown of the game to make it 49-0. Fantastic game from the Piranhas as we get a huge 63-0 victory over Indiana, and just firing on all cylinders in this one. We outgained the Hoosiers by over 500 yards as we had 551 to their 37, which is amazing dominance by the defense. And for our running game, we had 217 and 3 touchdowns. They had -46, courtesy of a lot of sacks for us. And then for the passing game, we had 334. They had 83. And then for third down, we were 4 of 6. They were 2 for 13. And turnovers, we didn't have any, and they had 1. Eli Newcomb with 253 yards, 5 touchdowns, and no interceptions, and he was not sacked. Then Alex Keener had 81 yards, a touchdown, and no picks. Max Meeks with 13 carries, 114 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Then Eli Newcomb with 5 for 56. Cortez Stoner, 11 for 42. And Tyler Cutler got himself a touchdown. Floyd Grimes with 7 catches, 88 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Then D'Angelo Lemur with 6 for 72 and 3 scores. Scott Graves, 4 for 56. And then we got our guy Stephen Fattencoon with 2 for 13 and a touchdown. Lamar Gallimore and Victor Lacumbo with 6 tackles apiece. And then for sacks, we got 2.5 from Brian Stitzer, 2 each for Dalvin Tabor and Greg DeMolling, and 1 each for Doug Boss, Alfonso Wells, and Ty Daly. And then for our forced fumbles, we had 2 from Greg DeMolling and 1 from Lamar Gallimore, and we recovered 1 with Daryl Morris. Unfortunate injury news here, as tackle Nick Potts has a hamstring tear that will keep him out for 7 weeks, and I believe that if we make a deep playoff run, he'll be able to come back to us for that, but other than that, we'll see what we can do while he's out. In place of Nick Potts, we're going to have Caleb Tant fill in at right tackle. Big milestone here on the line as we take on the Oklahoma Sooners in our final regular season game of the year. They have an 87 team overall, 8-3 record, and number 18 ranking. And for us, we're trying to go for 12 straight regular seasons without a loss.
Really pay for it. Now it's a new week, new challenge.
And Floyd Grimes on our first play from scrimmage is going to take this one all the way to the house for a touchdown. Our guy Eli Newcomb was able to thread the needle between the 2 defenders, and Floyd used his speed to separate to make it 7-0. And Greg DeMolling speeds around his man to get in the backfield for the sack. And Floyd Grimes with another one here, and they're not going to catch him again. That's 2 plays, 2 touchdowns for the Piranhas on offense, both to Floyd Grimes, and we're going to be up 14-0.
Drops back, looking to throw for it on third down. Looking for a man deep down the left side.
And it's going to be a brilliant pick by Miles Meadows, and he's going to bring this one back down the numbers. Little juke, and he gets it all the way back to their 28-yard line. Just incredible athleticism there to come down with that one. And D'Angelo Lemur is going to be open in the end zone for a touchdown. We ran a play earlier that didn't get a touchdown, but now it's going to be 3 touchdowns in just 4 plays for our offense. Just absolutely incredible as we go up 21-0. Eli Newcomb is going to take off here on the scramble, and Eli is going to score. In my mind, I was just thinking run, run, run. He was taking his time, but eventually he found the right way to go, and it's going to be 28-0 Piranhas.
He's looking to throw. A deep shot to the left side.
And he just floats it in the air, and that's not a good idea when Daryl Morris is around the ball as he gets that interception for us. And David Dimke is going to get this one off that RPO play, and it's going to be another touchdown for the Piranhas. Near the beginning of the second quarter, it's 35-0. And it's going to be a sack for Doug Boss. They try that fake jet play, and it does not work out for him as Doug cleans it up. And that's going to be intercepted by Oklahoma in the end zone. They're going to be able to take it out to the 20 now, but a lot of traffic there, and Eli probably should have just avoided that.
Drops back. We're going to test the secondary.
And D'Angelo Lemur is going to get another one, and he has to fight through the Oklahoma defender, but he does that, and it's going to be 42-0 Piranhas. We end our regular season with a shutout as we get a 52-0 victory over Oklahoma, and that means 12 straight years where we have not lost a regular season game, and that game win streak now is at 144 games, which is just incredible as we extend that record. 565 yards for the Piranhas to Oklahoma's 213. On the ground, we had 178 and a touchdown, and they had 22. For passing, we had 387, and they had 191. Third down, we were 7 for 9, and they were 6 for 15. And for turnovers, we had 1, and they had 3. Eli Newcomb finishes with 311 yards, 5 touchdowns, and that 1 interception where he just tried to force it, and then he was not sacked. And Alex Keener had 76 yards, a touchdown, and no interceptions. Eli Newcomb was our leading rusher with 7 carries and 72 yards and a touchdown, while Max Meeks got 7 for 64. Floyd Grimes came out of the gate hot and remained so as he had 6 catches, 174 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And D'Angelo Lemur had 7 for 46 and 2 touchdowns. And then we scroll down, you got David Demke with a touchdown, and Cornell Cleveland with a 4-yard touchdown. Deion Carney led us with 9 tackles in this one, and then for sacks, we had 1 from Doug Boss, and half a sack for Alfonso Wells and Greg DeMulling. Then for interceptions, we had 3. Frank Spellman, Daryl Morris, and Miles Meadows got those. And Markel Komar came out while the backups were out there, and he hit a 40-yard field goal. Miles Meadows got himself a Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. Floyd Grimes was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. In the Big Ten Championship game, it's going to be us versus number 2 Nebraska. Going into the conference championships, Bruce Toner is still the leader for the Heisman Trophy, and Eli Newcomb has replaced Max Meeks on the list. After extending our streak of regular season games won, we're now here in the Big Ten Championship where we have another streak going as we're trying to win our 11th straight Big Ten Championship. And going up against Nebraska, they're undefeated and they have a 97 team overall. And we've never played Nebraska for this championship, so this will be a first. On our first drive, it's 4th and inches, but Petey Previtt is going to decide to send out Markel Komar. And Markel is going to kick this one, and it is going to be good. And we open up the point scoring as we get 3, and it's going to be 3-0. And their quarterback doesn't know what to do back there as we're going to take him down with Doug Boss. And that's going to be intercepted by Nebraska. Their guy just waiting right there for it, and they're going to get it back to the 41. And that's going to be a sack as Greg DeMulling gets him from behind with the help of Brian Stitzer. Offense gets it all the way down to their 2-yard line, but we cannot punch it in, and Markel Komar is going to come on for another field goal, and it'll be good as we go up 6-0. And wide open, nobody is covering him out there. It's going to be Floyd Grimes getting into the end zone, just some miscommunication, and it's going to be 13-0 Piranhas. And jumping up there is going to get the interception. It's going to be Kurt Stat, and he returns it to their 11-yard line, setting up our offense beautifully. And it's going to be caught by Scott Graves in traffic, and that is going to be another touchdown for the Piranhas as we make it 20-0, and Kurt Stat gets a nice little gold star for his interception to set us up. And D'Angelo Lemur on the trail route is going to get into the end zone for the Piranhas as we extend it to 27-0. Long field goal attempt here for Nebraska as it's going to be a 58-yarder. And their kicker is going to hit it off the upright, and the shutout is intact. And Eli Newcomb has a free lane into the end zone, and we are going to go up 34-0 here in the Big Ten Championship. And Floyd Grimes has found the free space in the end zone to make it 41-0 Piranhas. The Peteytown Piranhas are once again Big Ten champions as we get the 48-14 victory over Nebraska here, and that's going to be 11 straight Big Ten championships for the Piranhas. Just absolutely wonderful consistency. I mean, historic consistency, really, and we just had a really nice game plan going in, and we executed it nicely. Eli Newcomb doing his thing out there with the boys, Floyd Grimes with a couple of scores, and just absolutely wonderful to see. And we celebrate with the Big Ten championship trophy once again. A nice milestone here for Eli Newcomb as he is now the Peteytown career passing yards leader. In this Big Ten title game, we had 490 yards, while Nebraska had 150. They had 18 yards on the ground, while we had 186 with 2 touchdowns. Then for passing, they had 132, and we had 304. They were 3 of 11 on third down, while we were 6 for 9. Nice. And for turnovers, they had 1, and we had 2. Eli Newcomb put up 274 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a pick, and he was not sacked. And for Alex Keener, he had 30 yards, but he did have 1 pick that was returned for a touchdown. Max Meeks with 16 carries and 80 yards, and then Cortez Stoner had 5 for 45, and Eli Newcomb 7 for 35 and a touchdown. Tyler Cutler 3 for 26 and a touchdown. Floyd Grimes with a nice day as he had 9 catches, 97 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Then D'Angelo Lemur had 7 for 64 and a touchdown. Max Meeks 6 for 51, and then Scott Graves 3 for 37 and a touchdown. Max Littlejohn led the way today with 9 tackles on defense, and then for sacks, we had 1.5 from Doug Boss, then half a sack each for Greg DeMulling and Brian Stitzer, and for interceptions, we had 1 with Kurt Stat. Markel Komar was 2 for 2 today with a long of 47. We got our final high school commitment as we have fullback Shakir Ferris. Floyd Grimes was the offensive player of the game in the Big Ten championship. Bruce Toner is the Heisman Trophy winner this season after Randy McNeil took it away from him last year, so Bruce battled all the way back to win the trophy this year. Eli Newcomb is the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award winner. Greg DeMulling is the Chuck Bednarik Award winner. Greg is also your Defensive End of the Year Award winner. And another one in the trophy case for Greg is he's the Bronco Nagurski Trophy Award winner. Max Meeks was able to come away with a Doak Walker Award. Continuing tradition, D'Angelo Lemur is the John Mackey Award winner. Daryl Morris has passed the Jim Thorpe Award to Miles Meadows this season. Max Littlejohn came away with a Dick Butkus Award. Greg DeMulling also added the Lombardi Award to his resume. The Heisman Trophy finalist this year was, of course, Bruce Toner taking home the award. Then you had Arizona State's wide receiver Dion Warmack in second. Then a couple of Michigan guys with wide receiver Ricardo Cantrell and former Piranha Vernon Moncrief. And then Eli Newcomb is in 5th place. We have dev traits to look through on this early national signing day as Freddie Rahman, the wide receiver, is a star dev. Then strong safety Alfonso Harris is impact. Edge player Trevor Tavares is a star. Cornerback Daryl Hardman is elite, so first elite dev. Outside linebacker Hugh Coates is star. Halfback David Rawlings is also star. Quarterback Marco Ballage is star. Halfback Tony Everett is also a star, so a run of stars. Left tackle Marco Sheed is elite, so love that. Right guard Emmanuel Montagulu is star. And then cornerback Jordan Iwuma is elite, so very nice. Defensive tackle Dewan Aikman is star. Free safety Cornell Moses impact. Right tackle Romeo Vigil impact as well. Cornerback Nick Granson is impact. And then athlete linebacker George Odenibo is normal, so the first normal dev. Then defensive tackle Antoine Willett is normal. And fullback Shakir Ferris is impact. Taking a look at the college football playoff bracket, you're going to have number 5 Notre Dame taking on number 12 Tulsa, then number 8 seed Miami against Georgia, then 6 seed Penn State against 11 seed Arizona State, number 7 Louisville versus number 10 Ole Miss, and then for the top 4 seeds were number 1, Michigan number 2, Baylor number 3, and Nebraska number 4, and we await the Georgia-Miami winner. It will not be the rivalry game in the quarterfinal, as we're going to have to take on the Georgia Bulldogs. In the first round, Notre Dame blew out Tulsa, and then Georgia beat Miami by 20. Then Arizona State got the upset over Penn State by 22. And then Louisville took down Ole Miss. So that's going to set up Nebraska versus Notre Dame, Baylor versus Arizona State, and Michigan versus Louisville, and of course us versus Georgia. Georgia comes into this game with their number 9 seed, and they have a 13-1 record and a team overall of 97. And of all the games we played against them in the past, we've handled them well, so hopefully we can keep that focus and continue that tradition. And Floyd Grimes is going to go to the outside, make that catch, and then get around the defense to get into the end zone, and it's going to be 7-0 Piranhas. And a big push from the defensive line is going to result in a sack by Doug Boss, who forces it out, and Brian Stitzer is going to recover it. Bubble screen is going to go out to Tyler Robbins, who dives and takes a big hit, but it's going to be in the end zone for the Piranhas, as we're going to make it 14-0.
On 1st and 10 here, looking to throw the ball.
And Max Littlejohn is going to reach up and grab that one for the interception, and can't quite take it all the way home, but he is going to get us to the 6-yard line. What a coverage play by Max Littlejohn. And Floyd Grimes on the RPO flat play is going to get in the end zone with a big assist from Max Littlejohn. We're going to go up 21-0. And in the end zone, it's going to be Scott Graves bringing that one in, and we are going to go up 28-0. Georgia puts together a little drive, but they cannot punch it into the end zone, as they're going to have to settle for the field goal. And their kicker is going to send it up and through the uprights, and they're on the board to make it 28-3. Good end-of-half offense from the Piranhas is going to put us in field goal position for Markel Komar on the 28-yarder. He is going to send it up, and it is good as we go up 31-3 right before halftime. And trying to get away from the pressure, he cannot, as the award winner Greg DeMulling gets him down. Eli Newcomb taking this one, and he's going to reach for it and get that ball across the line, and it's going to be 38-3 Piranhas. The Piranhas handle the mighty Georgia Bulldogs very well with a 48-3 victory here in the quarterfinal. Just keep on with this beautiful season that we've had so far and open up these playoffs with a nice statement. The Piranhas with 430 yards, while Georgia had 178. They also had 7 yards on the ground, while we had 178 and 2 touchdowns. For passing, they had 171 and we had 252. For third down, they were 3 for 10, we were 8 for 10. And for turnovers, they had 2 and we had 0. Eli Newcomb with a very efficient day today, as he had 224 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was not sacked. Max Meeks just over the 100-yard mark with 13 carries and 105 yards, and Eli Newcomb had 5 for 39 and a touchdown, while Cortez Stoner had 4 for 35 and a touchdown. Floyd Grimes with 7 catches, 85 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and Max Meeks had 5 for 53, D'Angelo Lemur 7 for 50, and Scott Graves 3 for 24 and a touchdown, and can't forget Tyler Robbins 3 for 12 and a touchdown. Few guys with 6 tackles today, as Frank Spillman, Daryl Morris, and Sua Tupa got there. Then for sacks, we got 1 each for Greg DeMulling, Doug Boss, Ty Daly, Rico Crozier. And then for half a sack, we got Frank Spillman, Dalvin Tabor, and Larry Aziki. And then for interceptions, we got 1 with Max Littlejohn. And then we also got a fumble, and that was forced by Doug Boss and recovered by Brian Stitzer. Couple of field goals today for Markel Komar, and he had a long of 56. Up next in these playoffs is going to be the number 5 seed Notre Dame Fighting Irish. In the other quarterfinal games, Notre Dame took down Nebraska by 11 points, then Arizona State just lost to Baylor, and then Louisville took down Michigan to advance, and so it's going to be us and Notre Dame on one side, and Baylor and Louisville on the other. We're facing another one-loss team in this playoff, as Notre Dame comes in 13-1 with a 97 team overall.
And it looks like the quarterback's going to run it.
And Notre Dame's quarterback is going to get into the end zone there. We might have helped him out a little bit, but Notre Dame is going to take the early 7-0 lead.
Out of the gun now on third down. Looking to the end
And open in the end zone, it's going to be Scott Graves who separates from his DB, and we're going to tie it up after Notre Dame's opening score.
design quarterback run.
And Eli Newcomb is going to run it straight up the middle into the end zone as we take the 14-7 lead.
How much of a risk do you take? You know this defense could be very...
A sack here is going to be Doug Boss getting back there.
Here comes a first down pass attempt.
And that's going to be intercepted by Notre Dame, and their man has some room to work with down the sideline. Tyler Robbins trying to catch up to him, and he will, but the Notre Dame is going to get it all the way to our 33, just trying to dump it off to the side there, but it's just a long throw, and that gave them enough time to grab it.
Back to throw again.
And Notre Dame is going to get free. That man gets overturned, and he is going to get into the end zone anyway, and it's going to be tied up after that key interception by Notre Dame.
He'll look to throw it here on second down. Looking for his big tight end.
Another interception by Notre Dame, and he is running down the numbers. Max Meeks trying to catch him, and he will, and that will set up Notre Dame at our 10. Just a couple of straight drives where Eli Newcomb not making the right decisions.
Looking to throw here. Launching one.
In the back of the end zone, just an absolute dot from their quarterback to the receiver, and Notre Dame is going to retake the lead 21-14. The offense gets it in field goal range right before the end of the half, and Markel Komar is going to try to get us a little closer, and he will to make it 21-17.
On first and 10, they'll look to throw it. Looking to the end zone.
In the end zone, it's going to be a touchdown for the Piranhas as Scott Graves just stopped his route and gave Eli a target to throw to, and Eli was on the money to make it 24-21 Piranhas.
Out of the gun now on third down.
And here's a sack by the award winner Greg DeMulling, a big one there.
Defense, this works out. Direct snap. He keeps it.
And it's going to be Cortez, and he is going to get into the end zone. Max Meeks a little banged up, but that's not a problem when you got our guy Cortez running wild out there to make it 31-21 Piranhas.
They look to throw it here on second down.
And Floyd Grimes is going to make the grab, and Floyd is in the end zone for the Piranhas, and we're going to extend it to 38-21. Up the middle, it's going to be Doug Boss getting back there for the sack. Greg DeMulling is going to get back there for the sack as he was not fooled by the play fake. The Peteytown Piranhas finish off a 38-21 victory here, and that second half proved to be the decider as we blanked them 21-0 in that second half. The first half just very, very tough. Notre Dame was really feeling themselves, but the Peteytown Piranhas were able to rebound after a couple of interceptions from Eli and were able to deliver this semifinal victory to get to the national championship for the 5th straight year. We outgained Notre Dame 465 to 243, and then on the ground they had -12 and a touchdown, and we had 145 and 2 touchdowns. For passing, they had 255 and we had 320. Third down, they were 5 for 11, we were 8 for 9. And turnovers, they didn't have any and we had 2. Eli Newcomb with a bit of an up and down game today as he had 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. And those interceptions set up scores for Notre Dame, but he was able to rebound nicely and lead us to victory, and he was not sacked today. Eli Newcomb was our leading rusher with 12 carries, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Max Meeks, 9 for 47, and Cortez Stoner, 4 for 44, and that touchdown. Floyd Grimes was getting fed early and often today as he had 13 catches, 153 yards, and a touchdown. D'Angelo Lemur got 7 for 58. Scott Graves, 4 for 42 and 2 touchdowns. And Tyler Robbins, 9 for 40. We were led by our award winners today on defense as Max Littlejohn got 11 tackles, And then for sacks, we got 2 from Doug Boss and another 2 from award winner Greg DeMulling. Markel Komar hit his only field goal today, a 40-yarder. In the national championship, we're going to have to take on the number 3 seed Baylor Bears, and we had to face them a couple of years ago in the national championship, so it'll be a rematch of that, and we'll see how it goes this time around. Baylor was able to get to the national championship by winning a shootout over Louisville 42-34, and in the process they denied Heisman Trophy winner Bruce Toner a chance at a national title. We have good news heading into the national championship as Nick Potts will be returning to us to play right tackle. It all comes down to this now as we take on Baylor in the national championship. They are also undefeated and have a 92 team overall, and we're trying to win our 5th straight national championship.
From the shotgun, drops back, looking for
And we're going to find our guy D'Angelo Lemur in the end zone. Very quick decision from Eli on that toss, and it's going to be 7-0 Piranhas.
and off inside, looking for the touchdown.
And Baylor is going to have their first possession end in a touchdown as they tie it up 7-7.
Picks up a little bonus, nice yards after the kick.
And Max Meeks is going to do a little nice juke move there to get that guy off his feet. And Max Meeks is going to make it 14-7. And we're going to cut off that one off with the interception by Max Littlejohn. He just read that absolutely perfectly.
Third down play here out of the shotgun.
And we're going to get another interception. Jamie Salcedo jumping in front of that one, and he's going to return it to their 37. Quarterback tried to rifle in one, and he rifled it right to Jamie. And the pop pass just works to perfection here as D'Angelo Lemur is wide open for another touchdown in this one to make it 21-7.
Out of the gun now on third down. Looking downfield near the end zone.
And it's another one for Jamie Salcedo. This one in the back of the end zone on a leaping grab from Jamie, and he's going to bring it out to the 20 thanks to it being in the end zone.
And the quarterback tucks it and takes off.
Eli Newcomb is going to get just to that line, and that's going to be counted as a touchdown for the Piranhas as we go up 28-7. And Floyd Grimes is going to catch that slant off the RPO, and he's going to split the safeties for the touchdown as the Piranhas go to 35-7.
On first and 10, looking to throw.
And he tries to fire one into the end zone, but it's going to be cut off by Caesar Stick on the interception. What a play by Caesar.
He'll hand it off.
And Max Meeks is running down the sideline. Max Meeks is going to get pushed by the guy trying to get him out of bounds, but instead it's going to be a push into the end zone for Max, and it's going to be 42-7 Piranhas.
Quarterback wants to throw it on second down.
And he's going to fire it into the arms of Sua Tupa this time, and Sua's got us at the 17-yard line. Last time in the national championship that we played Baylor, they had a lot of interceptions, and this one is a lot of the same story here.
There's the snap, and he's looking to throw.
And D'Angelo Lemur yet again in the end zone for the Piranhas, and it's going to be a 49-7 lead.
On first down, it's play action.
And a sack here as Doug Boss is going to drive him back for a 6-yard loss. D'Angelo Lemur for his 4th touchdown of the game in this national championship as we go up 56-7. And the clock has hit zeros on this national championship as the Peteytown Piranhas are once again your national champions. That will be 5 straight for the Peteytown Piranhas in this 56-7 victory over the Baylor Bears. Didn't score quite as many points as we did against them last time, but still a big blowout victory here. And that is just going to be the face of a coach who wonders what could have been and what he could have done better. And D'Angelo Lemur is going to hand over that national championship trophy to Petey Previtt for the 13th time in his career. Lucky number 13. A wonderful milestone here as Eli Newcomb has set the national career passing touchdowns record. It's a record that we already held, but Eli Newcomb has made it even larger. The Peteytown Piranhas had 535 yards in this national championship, and Baylor was actually able to move the ball a little bit as they got 391, and 113 of those came on the ground with a touchdown, and we had 173 and 3 touchdowns. For passing, they had 278 and we had 362, and on third down they were 6 for 12, we were 9 for 11, and the real separator was that we kept it clean, and Baylor had 5 interceptions. Eli Newcomb really saving his best here for the last game of his career as he had 362 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he was sacked once. Another guy who's leaving us will be Max Meeks, and he had himself a big day as well with 17 carries, 135 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Eli Newcomb added 6 for 38 and a touchdown to give him 6 total on the day. A guy who's not leaving us quite yet but still had a huge day was D'Angelo Lemur. He had 12 catches, 143 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And Floyd Grimes in his last game, 8 for 92 and a touchdown. Max Meeks, 5 for 48. Our 3 leading tacklers were all seniors, as Max Littlejohn had 15, Caesar Stick with 11, and Lamar Gallimore with 10. And our guy Max also added 3 for a loss. Our only sack of the game was from Doug Boss, and on the interceptions, these were all seniors as well. Jamie Salcedo with 2, then 1 each for Max Littlejohn, Caesar Stick, and Suatupa. Jamie Salcedo was considered the best defensive player in the national championship. D'Angelo Lemur was the offensive player of the game. For our season stats, Eli Newcomb had 4,777 yards, 64 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Then moving over to the running game, Max Meeks had 187 carries, 1,558 yards, and 13 touchdowns. Eli Newcomb behind him with 87 carries, 484 yards, and 10 touchdowns, giving Eli 74 total on the year, which is just absolutely incredible. Definitely one of the best, if not the best quarterback season we've ever seen. And then for receiving, we had Floyd Grimes, 115 catches, 1,606 yards, and 26 touchdowns. D'Angelo Lemur, 114 catches, 1,220 yards, and 15 touchdowns. Max Meeks out of the backfield, 56 catches, 704 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Scott Graves, 55 catches, 623 yards, and 11 touchdowns. And then moving over to defense, Max Littlejohn led us with 117 tackles this year, and 13 of those for a loss. And then for our leaders in TFLs, you got Greg DeMulling at 25. Then for sacks, you got 15 from Greg, 13.5 from Doug Boss, and 11 from Brian Stitzer. On the interception side, our leader was Jamie Salcedo with 5, and Max Littlejohn right behind him with 4. And then we move over to our defensive touchdowns. We got 2 from Miles Meadows and Greg DeMulling, then 1 each for Max Littlejohn, Daryl Morris, Tayshawn Whipple, and Doug Boss. And then pass deflections, we got 16 from Miles and 12 from Max. And then we got forced fumbles, 4 from Greg DeMulling and Doug Boss, then 2 each for Lamar Gallimore, Ty Daly, and Brian Stitzer. And then on the recoveries, we had 3 from Doug Boss and 2 from Daryl Morris, and 1 each for Greg DeMulling, Lamar Gallimore, Brian Stitzer, and Derek Sims. And then we got any blocks, not this year, but we did get 2 safeties with Lamar Gallimore and Alfonso Wells. And then for kicking, Markel Komar, his freshman season, bit of an up-and-down adventure for him. He had 18 makes at a 24 for 75% and a long of 56. Also can't forget that Cortez Stoner had 19 returns on the kickoffs for 374 yards and a touchdown. We're going to look at the career stats for the incredible seniors that are leaving us, including Eli Newcomb, who leaves as our all-time leading passer at 14,893 yards, and he also has that national record for career touchdown passes with 181, and he also had 36 interceptions. Then for rushing, we have Max Meeks, 297 carries, 2,100 yards, and 19 touchdowns. Eli Newcomb with 291 carries, 1,148 yards, and 25 scores, giving him 206 total for his career, which is just an absolutely incredible number. And then for receiving, we have the big play man, Floyd Grimes, with 260 catches, 3,403 yards, and 46 touchdowns. And Max Meeks, 147 catches, 1,682 yards, and 13 scores. Max Littlejohn is going to leave us with 384 tackles, 47 for a loss, 3 sacks, and 13 interceptions. And then we go on over here. He had 3 defensive touchdowns, and he also had 24 pass deflections. For forced fumbles, surprised he didn't get any, but he did have 3 recoveries. Daryl Morris had 230 tackles, 17 for a loss, and a sack, with 7 career interceptions. And then we move on over. He had 3 defensive touchdowns and 16 pass deflections. And he also had a forced fumble and 2 fumble recoveries. Greg DeMulling had 60 tackles for a loss in his career and just hit the 30 sack mark, and he also had 3 interceptions, and then he also had 2 defensive touchdowns and 6 pass deflections, and he had 6 forced fumbles and 1 fumble recovery. Alfonso Wells had 48 tackles for a loss, 23 sacks, and then moving on over, he had 5 pass deflections, and he had 2 forced fumbles, never recovered a fumble, and then all the way down he had 1 safety in his career. Jamie Salcedo finished with 12 interceptions, and then he also had 3 defensive touchdowns, 22 pass deflections, and he also had a forced fumble and 2 fumble recoveries. And then Miles Meadows, just below him, he had 10 interceptions, and he had 4 defensive touchdowns, 32 pass deflections. 3 players are at risk of transferring here, with center Landon McQueen and then RJ John at quarterback, who's threatened to transfer the last couple of seasons, and then also freshman quarterback Stanley Turner. So we're going to start with Landon McQueen, and we're going to see, and he has decided to stay. That's really big for our offensive line. I was really worried when we got him and I saw his overall that he was just going to leave, but he is staying, so that's very nice. Then we got RJ John, and he has decided to stay too. Each time he's decided to stay, I don't know what it is about us. I guess he just loves us. And then for Stanley Turner, the freshman quarterback, he has decided not to. He's got that star dev. I'm just going to try again because I have that ability. And he has decided to stay. So all 3 guys are staying. So love to see that for us. We're now going to say goodbye to this insanely talented senior class, as we got 599 overalls after I doled out some more skill points that they had, including Max Meeks getting there, and just a fantastic running back. He was more of a receiving threat the last few seasons, but this year he took on the main role and really succeeded well. And then you got Miles Meadows, who won the Jim Thorpe Award this year, just very good guy. Max Littlejohn, another award winner here, and just he took on the Mike linebacker spot with really, really fantastic determination and really great skill. And then Floyd Grimes, just one of the most electric players we've ever had on the Peteytown Piranhas, and he will be very much missed. And a lot of the receivers have to wait their time, but Floyd made his impact early and often, so he will be missed, like I said. And then Jamie Salcedo on the other cornerback side, just fantastic player. And then Heath Byard filling in the slot. Didn't make a lot of plays, but he was still reliable out there and really helped this secondary be great. And then Eli Newcomb, just a fantastic quarterback, one of the best we've ever had, and he might make an argument to be our best after leaving with all these records that he got, and just a fantastic quarterback and leading us to 3 national championships as our starter. And then you got Zach Swerwanek, a very solid tackle, and Alfonso Wells, great pressure off the edge for him, and Lamar Gallimore, he got a little overshadowed by Max Littlejohn, but still a fantastic linebacker. Daryl Morris, our other Jim Thorpe Award winner from this secondary, and just a fantastic player. Then Scott Graves coming in the transfer portal was a reliable guy. And then Avery Gabriel, fantastic offensive lineman. Greg DeMulling, the award winner, just incredible player. Like, he had interceptions and made touchdowns and just was incredible for us. And then we got Nick Potts, who got injured but came back, and he was a reliable guy when he was on the field. And then we got Sua Tupa, who I want to mention because he never got the starting strong safety role, but he was our second guy for a little while, and he made some big plays for us. Overall, this senior class joins the ranks of those senior classes that have never lost a game and won championships every year they were here, so that's just an incredible milestone for this class. If you were looking for something to quantify just how special and talented this senior class is, why don't you look no further than 17 Peteytown Piranhas making it to the NFL, with 9 of those being first rounders, and that includes Eli Newcomb, Max Meeks, Floyd Grimes, Zach Skowronek, Alfonso Wells, Max Littlejohn, Jamie Salcedo, Miles Meadows, and Heath Byard. And then in round 2, you had Lamar Gallimore, Daryl Morris, and then for round 3, Scott Graves and Avery Gabriel. Round 4, Nick Potts and Greg DeMulling. And then round 5 was Caesar Stick and Sua Tupa. Making a quick note that the Peteytown Piranhas have dropped back down to a 4.5-star prestige school. For the transfer portal, looking at if we can get a 5-star transfer, we got left tackle Sean Badgent on the board, and you can see he's just incredible at everything, basically. And then we got wide receiver Chad Babineau, who's a route artist, and you can see the good route running and a lot of abilities he has. And then we also got a younger wide receiver with D'Angelo Warmack, got pretty good speed and good route running for a speedster. And then Jose Homer is a cornerback that I believe I saw last transfer portal, but we weren't able to sign him, but he's in the portal again, so I want to see if we can get him this time. And he's just incredibly athletic with 99s across the board there. And then we got cornerback Tracy Maudlin, and he's got very good athleticism in his own right with that 97 speed and 96 acceleration, and he's also got 91 man coverage. And then seeing where these guys stand as far as the list goes, Tracy's all the way at the bottom there, but nobody else has a pipeline for him, so see if we can sneak in for him. And then for Jose, he's in second, and we got that tier 5 pipeline. And then D'Angelo's in third and another tier 5 pipeline. Chad Babineau, we got a tier 4 and in first place for him. And then for Sean, we don't have the pipeline, but we'll see if we can work our way into the battle for him. We have acquired the services of wide receiver Chad Babineau, so that's nice for our receiving core. And we also got another recruit with the other wide receiver, D'Angelo Warmack. Things weren't looking very good for Sean Badgent, but we were able to use a week 3 visit and a double soft sell to get a nice boost over Ohio State, and now we have his hard sell. Then for Jose Homer, he's trying to hold off Pitt for him, and he's got a double soft sell working. And then for Tracy Maudlin, we got him on a week 3 visit last week. That helped us get a lead over Texas, and we also have him on his hard sell. Welcome to the Peteytown Piranhas, Sean Badgent, as we get the top transfer guy in the class. And then we got some more guys with cornerback Jose Homer, which has been a couple years in the making now. And then finally we got cornerback Tracy Maudlin. Now we can take a look at the transfer dev traits as Chad Babineau comes in with impact, so that's not too bad. Then we got D'Angelo Warmack, who's a normal guy, so a little disappointing there. Sean Badgent is elite, and that's not a surprise given where all his ratings are. Then Jose Homer is also elite, and I love to see that. Tracy Maudlin is also elite, so maybe a bit disappointing on the wide receivers, but these 3 guys having elite is just fantastic for us. Overall for this recruiting class, we have 6 elite dev players, including 4 cornerbacks who are elite, which is just insane. And then for star devs, we have 8 of those, and the rest are impact and normal. And then for the top classes in the country, we once again have the number 1 class, and that includes 23 players, 8 of which are 5 stars, and 14 4 stars, and 1 3-star. In position changes, wanted to note that I moved cornerback Caesar Juravicius over to strong safety, because looking at the rest of the guys here, they're all impact, and I wanted to give us some juice there, and Caesar is an elite dev, so I decided to make the move. We have a dev trait upgrade for transfer wide receiver Chad Babineau, as he's gone to star, so that makes the transfer portal look even better than it already was. For our quarterback room heading into next year, we got Alex Keener and RJ John, both 89 true overalls, but the slight edge goes to Alex Keener as he's got that 92 overall with the tactician boost. So looking closer at what he brings to the table, he's got his accuracy up pretty good, and his power's at 94 throw power, and his quickness went up to 89 speed and 92 acceleration, and his IQ is at 76 awareness currently. Halfback Cortez Stoner is a 91 overall, 93 with tactician boost, and for him his quickness was already here at 95 speed and 94 acceleration. We boosted up his elusiveness a tick. He's got 99 agility and change of direction, and 92 juke move, and also 94 break tackle. Then we also did work on his IQ to get him to 76 awareness and 87 ball carrier vision. And for his abilities, he's got platinum shifty and gold sidestep. Our best wide receiver is Tyler Robbins with 89 overall and 90 with tactician boost, and he already had his quickness at 95 speed and acceleration. We boosted up his hands to 90 catching, 94 catching traffic, and 94 spec catch. His route running also got boosted where he's got 90 in everything here. We also gave him a tick in IQ. And then for his abilities, he's got platinum cutter, gold double dip, and platinum sure hands. I also wanted to point out here at wide receiver that we're really rich here, especially with the younger guys. You got Cornell Cleveland at 88 overall and 90 with tactician boost. Then you got Frank Kenoy, who's just a sophomore, but you can see that he's got some skills, and all these guys are super duper fast and skillful, so got a lot of decisions to make as far as how we order the depth chart going into next season. D'Angelo Lemur is at 90 overall, 93 with tactician boost, and we can see that he really maxed out his potential as he's maxed out his route running, hands, elusiveness, and his quickness, and we did a lot of work on his IQ here. The only thing with where he was, since we changed him over from a wide receiver, he was a bit limited in what he could reach, and that's why he didn't reach a lot of his abilities and everything, but he does have bronze balanced, platinum 50-50, gold cutter, silver downhill, and silver sure hand, so still a weapon out there for us for sure. Caleb Tant joins the ranks of the 99 overall club, and for him we got his pass blocking to its max with 99s across the board. His run blocking is okay, his power is great with 99 strength and toughness and injury, and then for IQ it's up to 89 awareness and 93 lead block. And then for his abilities, he's got platinum everything with pocket shield, quick drop, play action shield, strong grip, and wear down. Another 99 overall offensive lineman with guard Marco Moffett, and we got him there by maxing out his run blocking, and his pass blocking has reached its cap, and his power also reached its cap, and his IQ is maxed out to be 99 awareness and lead block. And we also boosted up his agility to 81 and his quickness to 88 acceleration and 74 speed. And then for his abilities, he's got gold screen enforcer, then platinum quick step, option shield, quick drop, and outside shield. This is shaping up to be quite the offensive line as we have another 99 overall player with center Landon McQueen. Very glad he decided to stay in the transfer portal. And we got his awareness to 95. We maxed out his run blocking and pass blocking to have 99s across the board. His power was already here. And then for his abilities, he's got platinum and everything now with pocket shield, outside shield, strong grip, option shield, and inside shield. Guard Deontay Singleton did not quite reach that 99 overall that the other offensive linemen have, but he's still very solid at 93 overall and 96 with tactician boost. And for his ratings, he's got his cap in run blocking. We reached his cap in pass blocking, but as we were doing his IQ, he actually broke a cap, but didn't have enough points to fill it in. And then he's reached his cap in power, and he has maxed out his IQ. And for his abilities, he's got gold pocket shield, platinum outside shield and option shield, and silver inside shield. Transfer offensive tackle Sean Badgent is our fourth 99 overall offensive lineman, and he will be a junior, so he will be going to the NFL, but it is what it is. He was a 93 overall when he got here. I moved him over to right tackle, and he was a 97, and since he was a 93 already, I figured he was going to go to the NFL, so said might as well just max him out and get the most out of him that we can this year. And for his ratings, he's got his pass blocking to its max at 99s across the board. His run blocking was already here at very solid range. His power got to 89 strength. His IQ went up to 92 awareness and 94 lead block. And for his abilities, I gave him platinum pocket shield. Left edge Eric Filani is going to get his chance to shine now, and he's up to a 91 overall, 94 with tactician boost. His power moves are at 95 as well as his finesse moves, and we also got his quickness to 90 speed and 95 acceleration, and his run stopping is up pretty nicely. And then for his abilities, he's got gold quick jump, platinum duress, gold takedown, and gold pocket disruptor. Defensive tackle Doug Boss is a 94 overall, 96 with a tactician boost, and for him we got his run stopping to its max potential, and it's going to be 99s across the board and then 88 agility. And then for his finesse moves, he's got it up to 95, his quickness is up to 95 acceleration and 84 speed, and his IQ is up to 79 awareness and 87 play rec. Then for his abilities, he's got Platinum Quick Jump, Takedown, and Pocket Disruptor. Kurt's stat is a 96 true overall, 99 with Tactician Boost at outside linebacker, and for him, his quickness was already at 90 speed and 95 acceleration, his pass coverage got up to 90 zone, his run stopping has reached its cap, and his IQ went up to 84 awareness and 86 play rec, and for his abilities, he's got Gold Blow Up and Wrap Up, and Silver Hammer. We have a 99 true overall defensive player now with Mike linebacker Dion Carney, and we got him there with getting his IQ to 86 awareness and 82 play rec. His quickness was already at 90 speed and 98 acceleration. Then his run stopping went up nicely to have 95 pursuit, and his pass coverage is perfect at zone with 99, and he's got good man coverage at 88. Then for his abilities, he's got Platinum House Call and Robber, and Bronze Bouncer. Victor Lacumbo is our other outside linebacker, and he's got 91 true overall and 95 with tactician boosts, and for him, his quickness is at 90 speed and 95 acceleration, his pass coverage is 85 zone, his run stopping is almost at its cap with 93 tackling, and his IQ is at 79 awareness and play rec. And for his abilities, he's got Silver Wrap Up, and he's also got Silver Hammer. Cornerback Larry Morrison is a 97 overall, 98 with tactician boost, and he reached his cap in man coverage, zone coverage, and quickness. And for man, he's at 98 man coverage and 99 change of direction. He's got 92 zone and 98 play rec, and for quickness, he's got 96 speed, 97 acceleration. And then for his abilities, he's got Platinum Robber, Gold Knockout, Platinum Blanket Coverage, and Gold Ball Hawk. It was an absolute pleasure watching this team work this year, just so many talented guys, and they really blew out a lot of opponents. Had a couple of games where we got challenged, but the team really responded to those challenges and really took over those games after a while, and just very happy with this team. Got a bunch of awards this year and continued our national championship streak, which stands at 5 now, so we're going to try to get 6 national titles in a row in the next video, and we're going to see if we can match what we did a few years ago where we went 6 in a row as well, so see if we can match that and then surpass it afterwards, but still got to play the games on our schedule and get there in the first place, so I'm excited to see what this team can do next year. I'll see you guys in the next video.